Food is becoming more and more expensive, so it's time for us to show you how you can just buy a chicken and create at least 12 filling meals for you and your family. Yep, one chicken, at least 12 meals. If you want to know how it's done, keep watching while I'm gonna have a shave. The solution is simple. So I will tell you how to do it. First of all, oh, and by the way, we paid only £4.74 for this 2 kilo chicken. Okay, so it's for the price of maybe 1.5, 2 sandwiches you will get from the supermarket. So all you need to do is make sure you cut. And let's have a proper knife here. You cut the legs and use quite a large chunks of the legs, okay, not just tiny ones. Okay, so one leg there. Okay, another leg there. So these are the 2 legs, and we're gonna cut the 2 pieces of, oops, sorry about that, of the breast. So cut along the breastbone. Make sure you don't cut yourselves. Okay, so you can see nice big breastbone. I will include the chicken wings. Okay. I'm not an expert butcher, so you know. This is a chicken breast. Let's cut the other one. Second chicken breast, but don't throw away the carcass. Okay, so what are we gonna do? One chicken breast we're gonna boil it with a little bit of salt and pepper, and we're gonna use it to make our chicken salad sandwiches for the rest of the week. And we're gonna save the broth because we're gonna make a nice chicken soup, plus we're gonna save some more liquid of the broth because in there we're gonna make some pasta as well for another meal. The second one, we're gonna freeze it. We're gonna think what to do with it next time. But with these 2, we're gonna make some nice Greek-style roasted chicken legs with potatoes and oregano and lemon. Let's begin. Fill up a pan with plenty of cold water. Add your chicken breast. At this point, you don't need to add any salt, any pepper, nothing in there. And we're gonna cover it and bring it to the boil. And by the way, this is where you add the carcass of the chicken as well. Okay? The reason we do that is because the carcass with the fat and the bones are gonna give all this lovely taste to the broth. Okay? So we cover it and we bring it to the boil. Okay, and I haven't decided what to do with the second breast, so I'm gonna put it in this bag and put it in my freezer to decide for a later date. Let's see how we're gonna do the 2 breasts here. We're gonna make them the traditional Greek way. So you need a roasting pan, and we've cut plenty of potatoes. Try to have them not in small slices, but also not in very large ones. Okay. Now, a lot of people that have tried a Greek style roast potatoes always ask me, well, how do you manage to get that sort of consistency? And we will explain to you how we make them. So, plenty of potatoes in the pan, and we're gonna add the 2 legs. So we're going to put plenty of salt. maybe 2-3 pinches of salt, freshly ground black pepper, loads and loads and loads of it. Greek dried oregano. The smell. Again, very large helpings of oregano. Greeks love oregano. And we got 3 lemons that we're gonna squeeze them and use the juice. Now, Greeks love lemons. They love a lemony taste to their meats and their roasts. And in a traditional Greek roast chicken, there's a lot of lemon juice going in there. So it depends how strong or not strong you like your lemony taste to be. As a Greek, we're going to use 3 lemons. But if you feel that you might not like the lemony taste, think of, I don't know, chicken lemon in a Chinese restaurant. If you don't like too much of a strong taste, you can start by using maybe a lemon and a half for the juice. But we're going to use all 3 of them. In the meantime, we're going to preheat the oven at 200 degrees. So, juice of 3 fresh lemons going in. Cover everything. Now, plenty of extra virgin olive oil, Greek extra virgin olive oil, of course. You need to be very generous with it as well. And finally, water. Okay, so give them a good toss. It doesn't matter that the oregano has mostly gone to the bottom. We're gonna keep on tossing and turning them throughout their roasting process. And now what you need to add is about 1 glass of water, or a glass of cold water basically, just so it reaches about 1/3 up from where the potatoes are. Okay, and a bit more salt as well. So you need that water because initially, with all the juices from the chicken, the potatoes are going to cook in that olive oil, water and lemon juice. And we're going to be adding a bit more water as the process goes. So we cover it and we put it in the oven. So our chicken is boiling nicely and I've just tried it a bit and it's ready. I've added a little bit of water. I will explain why. You really need to have a lot of liquid in there. So I'm just gonna switch the heat off and take it out. Okay, see, nice and moist. Now the carcass, if you want, you can take away some of the meat that is still left. You can see there's still meat there. It's up to you. You can throw it away at this point, or you can you see there's plenty of meat here that you can use. Whew. I'm gonna park that meat there because I like using all the meat. Nothing is thrown away in this household. So look at this, lots and lots of meat.
That is for a sandwich right there.
Well, you know, you'd be surprised that, you know, I would be surprised if some of the sandwiches you get in the supermarkets don't use this particular meat. I don't see why it should be thrown away.
Oh, so, come on.
It's nice.
Oh. Oh, yes, it's nice.
Okay, so I can throw away the bone. and I can throw away the skin, but I will leave it for now until this sort of gets a little bit colder. Now on this one we are going to save it. Roast has been cooking for about an hour and a quarter, and you can see the liquid of water, lemon juice and olive oil, and at this stage it's worth drizzling everything with it. Or you can turn out the potatoes on the other side. It's up to you, but the potatoes are almost ready. The chicken is still a little bit to go. At this stage, if you want, you can add a little bit of water more, just to bring it around there, to allow the next hour or so, or final hour of roasting, to roast properly, because once everything is ready, you're going to take the lid off and allow everything on top to get a little bit crispy. And if you do that, all the water is going to be evaporated. So you really need some water in there to keep it nice and moist. So what I'm going to do, somewhere in the middle, and that should last us until the final outcome. Almost an hour after we've added the water, and you can see there's hardly any liquid in there. So now what we need to do is we're gonna leave it open, switch the grill part of the oven on as well, so the top part also gets nicely cooked. So I'm just gonna turn this a little bit on the other side. I'm just gonna turn this on the other side, and I'm gonna add a little bit of water, otherwise everything is gonna so I'm gonna add a tiny bit of water, otherwise everything's gonna evaporate and we're not gonna have any lovely sauce. So turning a little bit. So let's put it under the grill. Still the oven is on, but we'll switch the grill on as well. And this is the finished article, guys. Let's serve it. Even though I'm very hungry, I'm gonna leave a couple of potatoes because I'm gonna show you a nice trick in case you're full up and you don't want to eat all of the potatoes. Now don't be scared to use all these juices to cover your food. This is not just olive oil, it's olive oil and lemon and the juices from the chicken and the potatoes. And it's delicious. Greeks love it. So you don't need to do absolutely nothing with it. Just place it on top and dip some really nice crusted bread. Unfortunately, in our budget, we didn't manage to get some crusted bread or sourdough bread. So we're just going to use some. So we're just going to use some sliced bread, unfortunately. So we're going to leave these two potatoes. Ta-da. So don't be scared to put a lot of that juice in your plate.
Hey!
Because that's how to do it. Nom nom, oh nom 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 nom. The lemon is delicious. Just trying to get a nice angle for it. So the cost for this dish will appear on your screen. As you can see, a nice fulfilling meal for two. Bon appetit. So we have one remaining chicken breast. We have just taken it last night out of the freezer and it's thawed. So we're going to today we're going to put it in a pan and let it boil, because we have decided to do a Greek chicken soup accompanied by chicken, potatoes and carrots. So that's going to be our meal. So we let that boil and I'll tell you how to make it in very quick steps. Get rid of this froth on the top. After about 20 minutes of boiling, you add potatoes. Now, how many potatoes you want depends on how many you like. Here we're doing it for two people, so we're adding about 4 to 5 potatoes. And also carrots. Again, we've done about 2 large carrots and 2 small ones cut in pieces lengthwise. Salt, and if you like pepper as well. You bring it to the boil and then you let it boil until everything is well boiled, well cooked. So the chicken is ready and the vegetables are ready. So we're gonna put them on the side for the time being, because we are going to drain our liquid from any bits and pieces that are left. Now you might wonder, well, last time you boiled the chicken breast, the first chicken breast, you kept the juice to make soup, and you're right, we have kept the juice because we were not planning to boil the second one as well. So since we've boiled it and we use the potatoes and the carrots, we're just going to use this liquid for today, and we're still keeping the liquid from the other one, because we're going to do the pasta and maybe the remaining one we'll use it as a chicken stock. Okay, so if you see here the liquid, okay, so oops, so we are going to quickly, there's not much really. Okay, just a few bits and pieces. Okay, so we're going to return our soup into the pan, because now it's time to turn the Greek cuisine on. We're going to create avrolemono, which is an egg and lemon sauce. Okay, so we got 2 eggs already well beaten. Okay, and it depends. If you don't want it to be that frothy, you can use only the yolks, but we don't like waste, so we use the entire eggs. And we have, normally it's for each person you use 1 egg. So 2 persons eating today, 2 eggs. And you squeeze 2 to 3 lemons. Unfortunately, we've run out of lemons and we're only using only 1. Our Greek friends are going to swear at us because you do use 2 to 3 lemons. All you need to now is to start slowly pouring the lemon juice while continuously beating the eggs. Okay. And as I said, you use 2 to 3 lemons. You need to have a lot of lemons. Now, despite popular belief, avrolemono is not a soup. some people will say it's an avolemono soup. No, avolemono is this particular concoction here of lemons and eggs that in Greece you normally use it in soups, and for two reasons: to thicken up the soup and also to give it a lovely taste, enhances the flavor. But sometimes you also use it as a sauce. Again, if you've made dolmades, for example, and there's a little bit of liquid left in the pan, you do that. And all you do now is you add a little bit of the liquid of the soup to the concoction, and you continuously beating it as well. What you need to do is you need the egg and lemon part to get into temperature, same temperature as the liquid. Otherwise, if you throw the concoction immediately in the pan, it's going to be a lovely scrambled egg soup. But today we're making a Greek chicken soup avolemono. So you can see it's frothy because we used the egg whites as well. Normally if you just use the egg yolks, it doesn't become that frothy, but it doesn't really matter that much. It doesn't really matter that much. Again, you need to beat it quite a bit because it needs to warm up and be in temperature. And one more maybe. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to return this to the pan. Okay, so we add it and we slowly stirring it. Let's leave some of the foam back. There we go. And this is the time where you need to check for seasoning. So let's try and see if it needs any more salt or pepper. It needs salt, yes. Plenty. And more. Okay. And this is basically a soup. Now in Greece, sometimes you will put the pan back into the fire just to warm up until it slightly brings it to the boil. But that happens because normally when the chicken is ready, you let the liquid set out and cool. So because it's cooled down, you add it to the pan and you bring it back to the boil to warm up again. But we use the liquid immediately after we took it out of the pan. So it was already hot, so we don't need it to reheat it again. It's already hot, it's sizzling. So let's serve. And here is one of our two portions. Bowl of soup, half the chicken breast, or a little bit more than that. Potatoes and carrots. We drizzled olive oil and pepper. Now, usually in this type of boiled vegetables and chicken, we will do another little sauce, lladolemono, which is olive oil and lemon sauce. Unfortunately, as I said, we've run out of lemons, so we just drizzle a little bit of oil. So 2 large pots of soup, and as you can see here, we have plenty for maybe another 2. So around 4 bowls of soup and plenty for 2 people. Let's enjoy our dinner. Time to show you how from the juice and the stock that we have from the chicken, we're gonna make lovely spaghetti. Okay, now I'm not an Italian, so if you want to know about Italian recipes, I have a favorite channel that I can recommend you in the description of this video below. It's called Vicenzo's Plate, and when I want to do Italian recipes, authentic Italian recipes, I always follow that channel. So in the same way that Greekosophy tells you about authentic Greek cuisine, that channel tells you about Italian cuisine. So anyway, but this particular recipe, we make it in Greece plenty of times. And it creates delicious pasta. So this is half of the stock that we kept. We put it in the freezer, and normally we would allow it to defrost. But today I'm extremely hungry, so I'm just gonna put it straight in the pan and then boil the pasta, and I'll tell you step by step what to do. As you can see, our stock is now melted and brought to the boil. Now, normally when you cook pasta, you need a large pan and loads of water. Just adding some salt here. But in this case, in this particular recipe, you need as little as possible. So you're keeping it with the original amount of stock, and we will add the pasta, and we continuously keep turning it around to make sure that it doesn't stick. And if it would need more water later on, then we will add some boiled water from a kettle. The important thing here is to keep the juice to be absorbed with the pasta and have a little bit of juice left at the end. So let's put the pasta first. Okay, so we're adding the pasta. We'll make sure that toss it and turn in a bit so it doesn't stick. Now they say that the standard portion is about 100 grams of dry pasta per person. Greeks tend to eat a lot more than that. Okay, so again, we're constantly stirring the pasta because the water, the stock, essentially you're cooking it in stock right now, is not a lot. And unfortunately you cannot smell, but I can smell the lovely scent, of the stock, of the chicken broth, essentially, that we saved and we're cooking the pasta in. So we're gonna cover it and keep stirring it to make sure that there is still enough water for it to cook. Every time you cook something, it is always important to keep on checking it, to keep on tasting it, and adjust, whether it's the seasoning or everything, to your taste. So let's have a little bit of a taste here. Again, they are at this point what we call al dente. But in this particular recipe, we prefer the pasta to be slightly overcooked, and together with a little bit of this juice here, and once we sprinkle some cheese on top, it will create an amazing taste, an amazing meal. So I'm going to leave it there maybe for another minute or so. It depends, I will try it again. But we don't need any more water. In fact, there was plenty of water for even more pasta. And as you can see, at this point, I'm happy that the pasta is not going to stick and there's still enough water for it to cook until the end. Our pasta is now ready. But before we drain it, it is important to save some of this stock. Because, as I said, when we serve it, we really need a little bit of that on our plate. Okay, so I'm saving this stock here, and now I'm going to drain the pasta. So I've drained the pasta, and as you can see, there's still plenty of the broth in there. In Greece, a lot of people prefer a little bit more as well. I personally prefer slightly less, but the broth is there. It keeps the pasta nice and wet. Nice fresh pepper in there. And now we're going to sprinkle the cheese. Now, we had some kefalotiri cheese left, so that's what we use here. But for the costing purposes, let's pretend that you use some grated some grated cheddar from what we bought the other day. But you can use Parmesan, you can use anything you like. But because it's a Greek recipe, I used our leftover kefalotiri. So this is it for one person. And obviously, let's toss it and turn it. So the cheese now will go into the liquid and will form a nice, lovely paste. And this is the simple recipe, but you cannot believe how delicious this pasta will be, this spaghetti. And for those of you who watched the previous episode with regards to making a chicken sandwich, from the second chicken breast that we used from our chicken, we created, depending on how much chicken you used, at least 4 chicken salad sandwiches at a cost of 54p per sandwich. So on this video, we're assuming that we use the chicken breast for 4 sandwiches, which means that we've added another 4 meals. So as you can see, out of just a single chicken, we've created 12 massive meals for 2 people or more. And if you use smaller portions, you can create even more. But, you know, we have 2 really big portions of roast chicken and potatoes, 2 big portions of bowl of soup with chicken and potatoes and carrots. And we have also leftover, so we created 2 further bowls of soup for lunch the following day. 2 really big portions of spaghetti cooked in the chicken broth. And if you have other people, you can cook more spaghetti in it as well. And 4 chicken and salad sandwiches. So the total cost for all of these 12 meals was £8.94, which means that an average price of just 75 pence per portion out of those 12. So as you can see, just a single chicken can go a long way to save you a lot of money and kept you well fed. If you've enjoyed this video or you're generally enjoying Grikosophy's video, please make sure that you press this all important subscribe button. It's free for you, but it helps our channel grow and helps YouTube pass our videos around to people that may not know us yet. To all of you that you have already pressed the subscribe button, thank you very much for your support and your comments. And again, if there's something that you don't understand in these videos, just make sure that you just comment on each video below, and we'll be more than happy to answer any questions, any suggestions, or everything you wish to tell us as soon as possible. In the meantime, if you haven't watched any other videos in the series, make sure that you go and watch them and just get out there and get yourself your chicken.